Here's a witch, one of those ones you squeeze like that to make it slowly come apart. But oh dear, what's happened to the nose? Well, these things do disintegrate, and if they're foam rubber, with rubber particularly, they do. I think it's ozone, isn't it, or sulfur in the air, which attacks it. And unlike wood and metal, which lasts for hundreds of years, and many plastic do as well, the rubber doesn't. So there's a few toys to show you which are perished, but never mind. They're still worth showing them. That one is an example of one. This is a very interesting one because when I bought this in 1991, it was actually a hair clip, would you believe? A hair clip, there's the clip for the hair. On top of it, some clever artist had designed it with lots of little, what they call water bomb balloons, very smallest balloons you can buy. You fill with water, and then the kids in the garden in summertime in bathing suits can throw them at each other, and they explode and cover them with lots of water. But the rubber of the balloons has perished, so they're almost flat now. They were sticking up and all slightly, balloon or pop a little rubber feeling into them as well. But it still is actually a very pretty size. It's just that I know it's a bit gooey now, so you've got to put some talcum powder on, I think. So that's perished, and yet it's just about workable. I'm not sure I want to wear that in my hair or what hair I've got left. But it was a hair. It was a little hair clip, and a clever idea of her, I think. There's quite modern toys which have perished. This one here is shilling, for instance. I'm going to see if I can get a replacement for this, because these little things, this rubber here, does definitely go after a while. When you squeeze it, it still squeaks. It's trying to come up. Oh, sort of, yeah. But they should all three come up like three fingers, woof, like that, and it doesn't want to do that anymore. Well, this bit, the body will last a long time, but these are very, very prone to decay. There's other ones here which are just about recognisable as to what they originally were, because some aren't. These were 1993, I think it was, made of some sort of rubber, which was they lasted reasonably well actually. It was an elephant, and the idea was you're supposed to wear it round your wrist like that, and there's a strap both ends. This has got a hole in it, and that went round the trunk, and it held itself to a child's. Oops, they hold it down like that. He's known better days, this thing, Nelly the elephant. He's known better days. And another version, which was a sweet idea, again, something you wore around the wrist like this. These little pieces stuck up, and they look like little picnic treats. Every one of them is a pudding, I think it is. But the rubber, after a while, does perish. Let's see if I can get these into focus. Ooh, can't get it. Lots of little treats, ups and downs, little treats. But it was originally made of a nice, soft, pliable rubber, and a plastic rubber, I suppose, and it perished. There's a very dramatic example of this, which is these lovely little things here, which came out in 1981. The first version of it, and I had one of these, but it's completely perished, was actually a wooden base and had a squeaker in it. But at the same time, he also had his stand, this one here, which I haven't been able to replace because it's no longer made. So he made two versions. This one here, which is the one that was taken up to the market and is still being made, thank goodness. This one, which has long since disappeared, which is a kind of cucumber, I think it was. When you squeeze it, the two blue eyes would pop out and the mouth would pop out as well. Extraordinary, but as you see, it's completely perished. And this one had to throw away, actually, but thank goodness Shilling and other companies have had to go remaking these because it's a very, very popular item with kids. There's also more recently a very small version of this, which is this one here. It just about works. It's a bit iffy, that one. Let's see if it's going to make it. Just about works. And what happens 40 years later? Well, no, 20 years later, this mess in here, I'm afraid. It's completely disintegrated, exactly what this was. And the rubber's darkened, etc., etc. And I couldn't begin to put it together. So A lot of this stuff is what I call is irreparable. The most dramatic version, actually, of all this is this stuff here, which isn't plastic. It's a kind of strange material, which these are the very first ones. Do you remember them coming out? Little green snake, you throw it at the window, and it slowly crawls, sticking and unsticking down the window. That's what these are. There's a green one there, in fact. But after not too long, about perhaps 3 or 4 years, they stopped working, and after that, and these ones are 30 years old, come into a kind of goo or mesh. I don't take them out of the package because they're going to make messes everywhere. The most dramatic version of damage done by one is this one here, which came out in 1979, Mattel toys. When you pull this, it went, except it shouldn't have done that. It should have gone very, very slowly, because inside there's a belt driven with this sort of material, but a much larger one, which went past what they call a governor, which slowed it right down to make it work something a bit like, well, I'll try and do it with my hand. Ooh, hold it like that. And if you slowed it with your hand, acting as a governor, I can't. Whoa, no. It's supposed to go very slowly and evenly, and then it talks to you. But it's one of these inside, a large version, which is perished. So I've had to go taking one to pieces. I love looking at governors and things, but I've got to find the replacement version of one of these belt drives to go around the governor, lovely word governor, and repair it. So things do happen to toys, but to damage them. But it's mostly rubber ones which are affected. Nevertheless, things like these are all what I call toys to cherish. So I cherish them, but they're perished.